and you saw the magic of Singapore. Today, Singapore is richer than its ex-colonizer, Great Britain. So when I hear people telling me today, oh, Africa is poor because of colonization, I'm like, please, let's move on from that. Does it have maybe a tiny percentage in where we are today? Maybe, and I don't know. But I know it's not the cause. Because if it were, many countless countries have been colonized before. And by the way, colonizing one another is humanity's history. It just happened that maybe Africa has been one of the last, colonized region in the world. So in our psyche, it is there, and it acts like nothing happened before to others. But flash news, it's the history of the world. We've been capturing each other back and forth, all of that. So
in this video, this lady makes this great statement, and I think we need to take a look at it, that colonization is not a cause of where Africa is at the moment. I don't know what you think about this, but I think there is some sum and substance in what she is saying. So let's watch the video together, listen to her point of view, listen to the key elements that she mentioned and why she thinks that colonization is not why Africa is where it is now. So let's watch the video together. But before that, if you haven't yet liked the video, kindly like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Let's watch the videos together.
Well, you list here in one of your articles where you make reference to these rating systems, the bottom 10 countries for doing business in the world: Chad, Haiti, Central African Republic, Congo Democratic Republic, South Sudan, Libya, Yemen, Venezuela, there's a lovely example, Eritrea and Somalia. And so there are 3 exceptions in the African ecosystem: Mauritius, Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, Botswana, and Zambia. You pointed out in your prospectus, is it prospectus article?
Yeah, prospectus article of Artbridge Institute.
Right, that Mauritius is a rising star. And Rwanda is in some ways comparable to Georgia. So some of these countries have started to get this right.
Yes.
And so what's the consequence of that? And what does right mean?
What they have understood, what these countries have understood, is that economic freedom is at the center for prosperity building. Rwanda, for example, Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, is explicit about it. He said he wants to be the Lee Kuan Yew he wants to be the Singapore of Africa, and Lee Kuan Yew is his model. Now, the dirty mouths are going to start shouting, oh, yeah, see, authoritarian, blah, 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 whatever. Me, I want to talk only about on the economic side. If you take Lee Kuan Yew and Singapore as your example, then it means that, like him, you're going to have to be serious about economic freedom. And that's exactly what he did. That's what Singapore did. When Singapore figured that out, they went on to put in the right reforms to make their environment some of the most business-friendly environments in the world, one of the most free markets environment in the world. And you saw the magic of Singapore. Today, Singapore is richer than its ex-colonizer, Great Britain. So when I hear people telling me today, oh, Africa is poor because of colonization, I'm like, please, let's move on from that. Does it have maybe a tiny percentage in where we are today? Maybe, and I don't know. But I know it's not the cause. Because if it were, many countless countries have been colonized before. And by the way, colonizing one another is humanity's history. It just happened that maybe Africa has been one of the last, colonized region in the world. So in our psyche, it is there, and it acts like nothing happened before to others. But flash news, it's the history of the world. We've been capturing each other back and forth, all of that. So anyway, but the truth is, Singapore, richer than Great Britain today. And then Hong Kong happened. And then because Hong Kong happened, China even today happened. Because China's like, wait a minute, what went on over there? And then China went on to do the exact same thing with its SEZs, the special economic zones, some of the most free market zones in the world. And then look at it happen in communist China, who, when it comes to economics, decided that we're going to do the free market, we're going to be capitalist, because that's the only way. We tried everything else. We killed hundreds of millions of people, and we have nothing to show for it. But now that we're tired of being disrespected members of society, because guess what? That's the other thing too. You want to be respected in this world? you're going to have to be among the prosperous ones for other reasons. Would it be nice, G, that we respect people just because? Absolutely. But that's really not the world we live in. So when China got tired of being disrespected, they're like, maybe we got to build also some prosperity here because then they're going to hear us. And today, China, being one of the, being where it is at, even Hollywood, who tries to tell the world how to think, is being told by China what movies to make and how to tweak stories and history in order to be palatable for them. You see the power that comes with being prosperous.
Welcome back. So in this video, this lady revealed that colonization is not the reason why Africa is at where it is now. And I think this statement is profound. Looking at the reasons that she gave, I think there is some important things that we need to pick from what she said. I once read a quote which reads, and I quote, "He who blames others has a long way to go, and he who blames himself is halfway there, and he who does not blame anyone has already arrived." And this statement is very profound. Colonization that happened some centuries ago is believed to be the cause of economic poverty in most African countries. But is it true that because of colonization, that is why Africa is still where it is now? Now, many countries have gained independence over half a century ago, and yet there is no still any better development. Personally, I come from Ghana. My country gained independence in 1957. That's over 60 years ago. Yet we have not been able to put our economy on track. And looking at the African continent, majority of the countries are also in the same situation. But there are some key countries that are becoming the rising star of Africa. She pointed out Rwanda, for instance, that Rwanda wants to be the Singapore of Africa. And Rwanda is getting things right. They are really doing things right, and you can see that it's manifesting in their economy and in their livelihood as well. She stated that economic freedom is at the center of prosperity building. Now, if you want to be a prosperous nation, that your people will prosper, everything will be well with your people, you should have economic freedom. And it is very, very true. This is even basic knowledge that everyone should know. If you will be respected and you will prosper in this world, you should have your economy intact. African countries are not so respected because we do not have a strong economic background. Poverty is ravaging the continent. A lot of countries are finding it difficult to be economically free. And if we need to build prosperity, we should be economically free. She stated countries like Singapore, it became a business environment. After they had independence from Great Britain, they sat down, draw up a plan in order for them to move from a third world country to a first world country. And she even stated that even Singapore is now richer than its colonizer, that is Great Britain. Britain colonized Singapore, but Singapore has been able to put itself together, work together for economic freedom, and they have been able to build prosperity, and now they are even richer than their colonizer, Great Britain. So these are some of the examples that she stated that is why we need to take this subject very serious. Now, she also mentioned the example of China. China also drew up a plan in order for them to also become prosperous. And as it stands now, they are one of the superpowers of the world. China introduced what is known as the special economic zones. That is the free market in order for goods and services to be able to move from one place to another so that the economy will run and then there will be prosperity in the economy. And China has been able to do this, and now they have become one of the great superstars of the world. There are countries in Africa that she stated who are also on track. Looking at what has happened, they are on track in getting better. Countries like Rwanda, Mauritius, she stated Botswana, and some other countries as well, who are doing very, very well in order for them to get their economy on track. And one thing that I think is important is good leadership. Now, if you have good leadership, all these things will be able to fall in place. Rwanda, for instance, she stated that the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, stated that the economy is at the center. That is, everything that he's doing is to help the economy thrive, is to help the economy move forward so that he can bring prosperity to his people. One thing that I believe Africa is lacking is good leadership. Majority of leaders in Africa are not living up to expectation. They are just following what the West tells them. So this is her point of view between that's the correlation between um, economic development in Africa and colonization. She says that colonization is not the cause of the economic rate of economy, that is how our economy is now. It is not linked to colonization based on these examples and these facts that she presents. Let me know what you also think about this in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just click the subscribe button down there. Click on the subscribe button. Click as well on the notification bell. And I'd like to see you again in my next video.